it's been over a week since I last put out a video, excluding yesterday, and now here I am putting one out each day. I do apologize for not putting out any videos sooner, but I was dealing with some family stuff, plus it was Thanksgiving, and I was spending some rare time off with my family, but I'm back now, and if y'all promise to watch them, then I'll keep putting them out there. My videos, that is. So, what are we looking at today? Today it is Day of Dragons. This is, well, it's a dragon game simulator, I think. But before I go more into detail, could you please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right down there, right down there below the video. It doesn't hurt you at all. It helps me out a lot, and it only takes you a couple of seconds. But if you want to be bothered, then you got to hit the little bell that's down there as well, below the video. And you know, each time I put out a new video, that's when you'll be notified. Otherwise, hitting that subscribe button doesn't do that. So please, hit that button. Thank you. Now then, on to the First Impressions review. If you don't know what a First Impressions review is, it's not a review, it's not a First Impressions, it's a combination of both. I don't look at a game for 10, 20, 30 minutes, I look at a game for almost 2 hours. Trying to do as much of a deep dive as I can, but not wasting my chance to get a refund in case the game turns out to be crap. Now, I played this game for almost 2 hours before pulling myself away. However, when I did finally pull myself away, it wasn't because I had to get off or that I had something suddenly come up. Instead, I rage quit the game. Yep, I sure did. And that final moment was the culmination of everything that had been annoying me in the game up to that point. So, the game is basically a dragon survival game. It comes at you with a unique little start. You choose between one of 3 different types of dragons. You get to be a wyvern, a plasma dragon, or a fire dragon. You can select your gender, or you can let it be chosen randomly. After you select which type and which gender you prefer, you are instantly thrust into an egg in a nest. From there, you must hatch yourself out of your egg, and then lo and behold, you are a very tiny baby dragon. Your own color is randomized, so you look different from other dragons around you, and that's the end. Good job, everyone. You've played the game! At least, for now. After all, this game is in super duper early access, and I'm talking like it's only been developed for like 2 months. It doesn't have a whole lot left in it. But this First Impressions review is based on the game's release, as in, I judge it based on what is here now. And as of right now, it's barely a game. You know, in fact, this isn't even a game. It's a concept. It's a demo. It's a, hey, wouldn't this be a cool idea? I know a lot of you probably don't want to hear that. I know I'm probably going to get some heat for saying that, but it's true. And if you don't know this about me yet, I try to stay brutally honest. It's how I live my life, it's how I run my channel, and if you can prove me wrong in the comments below, the odds are also very high that if you can make some sense in your argument and not just insult me, I'll probably agree with you and apologize. Now, don't get me wrong. I like this concept. I'm not going to call it a game because it's not a game yet, but I love this concept. I love the idea of being an egg, then hatching into a baby, then growing up into a mature dragon. Then, well, I don't really know what comes next. I can only speculate and tell you what I'd like to see. So, for this adventure, let me tell you detail on my journey. Upon logging in, I was hit with dozens of servers. The ping, at least on the surface, looked promising. After logging in and starting to learn the game, I was getting more and more immersed. The game gives you no tutorials or pop-ups or any other kind of assistance, by the way. Everything I learned, I had to learn from other players. This was immediately a red flag to me, but I didn't care so much because I just kept feeling more and more immersed as a baby dragon. From there, I wandered around this little oasis in the desert where my nest was. The nest is the logging in point for everybody, by the way. And if you didn't know, this is an online multiplayer game. After only a few moments, the server was filled with dozens of people. Literally dozens upon dozens of baby dragons, each server can holding up to about 100 people, so it was getting up there for every server. So there's dozens of these little baby dragons just running around, more than dozens, 3 dozen. Baby dragons just running around and roaring their cute little roars. The lag was unbearable, and it was impossible to do anything. I couldn't even get my dragon to sprint or do his own little cute roar because of how bad the lag was. This is a bit disconcerting because the game's release was postponed several hours because the devs were trying to quote-unquote smoothen out the kinks. They were trying to iron out the details. You get me? It took me leaving and joining several different servers before finally finding one that wasn't frozen by lag. So, now that I found a server with only a dozen people on it, I could actually play the game without the lag stopping me. The only thing in this game right now is other players as dragons and a few different oasis spots. There isn't even anything for you to eat, which you need to survive, but at least you can drink the water. But because of this, you are forced to attack other players. Babies killing and eating babies. That is what this game is when it first starts. So I'm sure you guys already know the problem here. Certain players with more knowledge or experience, or players who choose to group up, are going to dominate over the other players. And this is exactly what happened. Several players never made it past the infancy stage as they kept getting eaten over and over again and eventually quit the game. I can easily see how anyone playing this on release day could be turned off by this and end up getting a refund. Let's make this a bit more basic before I get lost in my own rant, because that's coming. The good: the game's graphics are serviceable, but it's a lot of stock Unity assets. The game has a very interesting idea, but I've seen it done a few times before. You grow as time progresses. So slowly you don't notice it until you actually, think, I wonder if I'm getting bigger. Oh, I really did get bigger. And I actually kind of like that mechanic. I think it was a smart idea. And the dragon designs, they're pretty cool. I mean, when you think about what a dragon looks like, that they look exactly how you think they're gonna look. So that I gotta give them props on that small little detail. And though I didn't get to experience the flight before my rage quit, from what I could see from other players, it did look easy, smooth, and fun. But now I gotta go on to the bad, because that's all there is to the good. Currently, there is absolutely nothing to do but pick on other players. There's nothing to explore, nothing to see, and once again, nothing to do at all. The game has major lag problems and connection stability. I was disconnected several times, and that's even if I was able to get in the game at all. With no food, it forces players to attack each other, which only creates problems. It takes way too long to get big enough to fly. I was playing for almost 2 hours and wasn't even close to being able to fly yet. Maybe I'm missing a key objective here to help me grow faster, but the constant getting killed by bigger, better dragon players or mobs of friends didn't really help me either. But I do know that in my last 45 minutes of playing, I didn't get attacked at all, and was only 3/10 of the way there to getting big enough to fly, before a bigger dragon saw me and decided to eat me, which is what caused the rage quit. Spending 45 minutes doing nothing, talking to players, and growing so I could fly, only to then be eaten by a bigger dragon once he caught sight of me. I spent the entirety of my first 2 hours pretty much just sitting around that oasis, chatting with other players, eating random baby dragons when I was big enough, and then running from the bigger dragons when they were hungry. Too bad the bigger dragons are much faster, and they could fly, so I had literally no chance of survival if they decided to eat me. Another way the game screws over new players or players without prior knowledge. When I was reaching the limit before my refund was no longer available, I looked at the game as it is and asked myself if it was worth $20 to me. As of right now, at this moment, it is not. I have seen several games like this, where it has a very unique and interesting idea, and the whole process is just to survive as an animal, and they never really live up to my expectations. But you know what I want from a game like this? I want there to be large, giant landscapes of different biomes to explore. I want there to be actual villages and castles of NPCs who are either human, elf, or dwarf, and they try to fight you if you get too close. Sorry about that. I want there to be large and small mythical creatures that you need to hunt down for a treasure hoard, possibly, or some other reason. Speaking of treasure hoards, I think you should be able to find a cave or some other kind of lair and claim it as your own and store some stuff inside. But, am I going to get that? Probably not. Am I going to get any of that? Well, I might get the different biome types. Maybe. As of right now, it's just one giant desert with a few oasis spots on it. But that's it. I'm not going to get all the super cool stuff that I mentioned above. I don't know why, but I wish a developer would give me stuff like that in a game made this way. But who knows, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they will end up giving me these kinds of things, but I highly doubt it. So if you love the idea of being a dragon and flying through the empty skies looking for another dragon player to kill, then this is a great investment for you. But if you're looking for a little more depth and a little more interactivity, then this game is not for you at all. Remember, you're making an investment here. It's not a fully finished game, it's just a concept. Keep that in mind if you choose to buy this. Now, I've said this several times before with these early access games, but these developers need to start putting more boom, more pop, more excitement into the first 2 hours of their game to really hook their future investors in. If you can't get me to want to keep playing within 2 hours, then you're leaving something out, and don't have a right to ask me for any money. I'm not super picky. I'm really not. But I know what my money's worth, and I've been playing games for about 20 years now. I've seen almost every type of video game out there that there is. And if you cannot keep me engaged or interested for longer than 2 hours, you don't deserve to keep my money. But there are people out there who do like this style of game very much and will pay out the ass for it. I am not one of them. And I wish they wouldn't, because all it does is fund games that don't give us 100%, and it further promotes indie developers or AAA companies to make crap games. I'm not trying to pick on anybody or put anybody down. That's just my own personal opinion. But I expect more from my video games, and you should too. The only fun to be found here is in the hunting and murdering of other players' dragon avatars. Maybe that's fun for you, but that's just not fun to me. Maybe when this game gets some more content added to it, with some more service to its online lagging and connectivity problems, I might come back and take another look at it. It's such a shame, too, because I really did want to play a game where I'm a dragon in an immersive world with other players, and then I wanted to see what happened, but yeah, that's just not it. This isn't nowhere near that. And I know a lot of you are probably going to say, it's early access, so you can't complain that much. Obviously, it needs more work, and the devs promised this, and the devs promised that. But to that I say, there are also several, and I do mean several, early access games on Steam that are only charging $20 and worth every damn penny. Because in their first 2 hours, they wowed me. They made me want to keep playing. And I'm not talking about my usual genres that I'm attracted to. These are games that are outside the box, games that make me think, games that I normally wouldn't play, and yet I still supported them because they did it right. They were addictive, they were creative, they had depth, great idea, great execution, and they had a good-looking future. But for games like this, with no saving grace, I do not believe it's worth the money. All you can do is fly, breathe fire, and eat babies, and that just doesn't sound like a fun, engaging game to me. But please, if you love this game, and if you think this game is truly worth its asking price, then I challenge you to give me 3 very good ideas why. Being able to fly doesn't count. That's in a lot of games. Being a dragon doesn't count because it's just not done right. Playing online doesn't count because there's a plethora of those. And promises from the developers don't count. Why? Because I've seen so many games be abandoned or developers who lead their investors on without ever delivering on their promise. So I no longer trust the words of early access developers, not a single one. They need to show me with actions, not with empty promises. So if you can give me 3 good reasons why this game is worth its asking price besides those I already said no to, then I will give your reasoning some thought. I might even make a video or comment retracting this first impressions review video. However, until then, I must say that even though it's early access, it doesn't have enough to be worth your money. I hope that this game does surprise me, I hope it does end up doing something different, and I hope the developers really will turn it into something magical. And if they do, I might end up buying it again and making another video praising them in their game. But until then, this is just an empty game with nothing inside it but dragon mass murder. Oh, and this is funny. Let's not forget this little news snippet that I found. I found this after I finished writing my script, and I'm adding it in right now. A user on Steam called Hijinks, thank you very much, sir or ma'am, they left a very interesting comment on the Steam store page of this game. And I quote, "Lots is wrong with this game and the devs' handling of PR. Never forget the mass ban on the Discord server for anyone saying anything negative about the game. I'm a former staff member that was cut with no warning or explanation. Spent $150 backing the game on Kickstarter and helped with early development. Not worth $20. The game is bare bones with 1 rookie coder. It's been in development for 2 months, not 2 years as previously stated. Maybe it will be something 2 years from now, but until then." So, in conclusion, if this statement proves to be accurate and this guy isn't lying, fuck those game developers and their shitty little dragon game. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I helped some of you out there to better spend your money, and I hope to see you on my next adventure. Until then, I bid you farewell.